Russian forces positioned their Tu-1A multiple rocket launcher system, preparing to strike Ukrainian positions. Their primary objective is to break apart the Ukrainian defensive lines and seize control of the area. Yeah, with this attack, they aim to weaken Ukraine's frontline defenses and gain a tactical advantage on the battlefield. At this stage, Ukrainian units find themselves in a difficult situation. Infantry elements take cover in their positions, trying to shield themselves from the intense incoming fire and minimize potential casualties. Despite their efforts, the situation becomes increasingly critical, and they know they must act quickly. Noticing brief gaps in the Russian attacks, Ukrainian infantry immediately shift their positions and move to safer points, determined not to lose their footing in the ongoing battle. Ukrainian artillery enters the scene. Enemy coordinates are carefully identified, confirmed, and relayed to the artillery crews. The strike lands with pinpoint accuracy, completely destroying the Russian multiple rocket launcher system. After suffering this heavy blow, Russian forces launch a counterattack without hesitation. They push all their infantry units forward toward the Ukrainian positions, attempting to engage at close range. Their goal is to eliminate every Ukrainian infantryman detected in the area and regain the tactical edge they just lost. Reaching the front line, Russian infantry quickly dismount from their vehicles and open fire. At this moment, Ukrainian infantry strength in the area is somewhat limited. But this will not last long. Reinforcement units are already on the move and rapidly approaching the battlefield. With reinforcements arriving, Ukrainian infantry push forward in a controlled manner. Engaging the enemy and trying to secure new positions, the Russians, however, refuse to ease their pressure and continue advancing with full force. While Ukrainian troops operate with caution and discipline, Russian forces fight in a far more aggressive manner. Intense exchanges of fire continue non-stop for some time. During the clash, one Russian soldier spots a Ukrainian position and throws a grenade. The explosion disrupts the defensive point, giving Russian infantry another chance to advance. They follow this with mortar fire, increasing the pressure even further. No. Realizing the incoming threat, Russian soldiers flee the area and narrowly escape the strike. Seeing the Russians retreat, Ukrainian units seize the opportunity. They immediately begin mortar strikes and FPV drone attacks. Russian soldiers detected in the area are neutralized, and control of the battlefield shifts once again into Ukrainian hands. How are you? The cautious advance continues. The fighters do everything they can to stay silent and avoid revealing their positions. At the same time, the supporting fire keeps going uninterrupted, setting the overall rhythm of the operation. During this phase, the fighters discover the first spoils of the mission: Russian weapons left behind. Following this, the command orders them to check whether any of the enemy soldiers were carrying radios. After a brief search, they indeed find one. Yes. While searching the bodies of several dead occupiers, the fighters also come across a phone, which they suspect may have belonged to an intelligence officer. In addition, they seize various documents the Russians had been carrying with them. The Ukrainian fighters suddenly hear someone running nearby and immediately become alert. Preventive fire is quickly directed toward the area. A heavy burst of machine gun fire is unleashed at the source of the noise. As a result, another Russian soldier is neutralized. Ukrainian fighters also discover another radio that the Russian command appears to have been using to issue orders to its subordinates. Close. Still walk. At that moment, one of the Ukrainian soldiers spots a Russian soldier only a few meters away. He reports the situation over the radio and soon receives the order to eliminate the enemy. He launches a rapid attack using a hand grenade and machine gun fire. Moments later, he receives confirmation from command that the target has been successfully hit. Meanwhile, the fighting in the area continues without pause. It soon becomes clear that there are 3 occupiers in that sector. The Ukrainian fighter reports wounding 2 Russian soldiers and continues firing and throwing grenades until he receives the order to fall back. Look out! Okay, let's see. Please. After the clash, several Russian soldiers are captured. They are given food and assured that everything will be fine. During questioning, it becomes evident that the Russians are aware of the 3rd Assault Brigade. One of the prisoners even expresses his respect, saying he has seen the brigade's work and was deeply impressed. The assault units retook the position and reported that the area had been fully cleared. Meanwhile, drone operators continued tracking the Russian soldiers attempting to escape. Caught out in the open, they had nowhere left to run. In modern warfare, being exposed in open terrain is practically a death sentence. The operators carry out their mission with a cold, precise focus. The enemy they are targeting is one that came to invade their land and therefore must be neutralized. The Russians had the chance to drop their weapons and surrender in the trenches, but they chose a different path. Some retreating soldiers jumped onto motorcycles, believing they could escape the kill zone faster and save themselves. But honestly, this was impossible. Ukrainian drone pilots strike them with pinpoint accuracy. A few soldiers were lucky enough to abandon their motorcycles and flee on foot. The Ukrainians do not spare even the abandoned equipment. Everything is burned. Those who survive find a ruined building and descend into the basement, the only place where they can hide from the drones. They called for an evacuation vehicle and waited until nightfall, hoping darkness would cover their escape. Shortly before sunset, an armored personnel carrier arrived. The infantry dismounted and secured the trenches. For a moment, it seemed the Russians were finally safe, but the Ukrainians already knew a group of Russian soldiers was hiding and waiting to be evacuated. They launched their drones again, scanning every part of the area in search of an armored vehicle. Soon they found it, packed with infantry. It was unmistakably them. The Russians opened fire on the drone with every weapon they had, but it made no difference. The vehicle was hit and burst into flames. The soldiers jumped out of the burning APC, desperately scrambling to survive, knowing the Ukrainian drones were already closing in. The armored vehicle was struck again. The drones hit it repeatedly, tearing it apart piece by piece. It rolled like a ghost, burning, collapsing metal with no crew inside, no control left, only a wreck drifting toward its final end.